This prison is all made of plastic, and every time a prison guard enters, they have to check carefully if there is any metal substance on them, because what's locked in the prison is a 10,000-word net that can control all metal. But one day, when the prison guard walked into the prison, the 10,000-word net's corner of his mouth was blind, because he sensed the presence of metal on the prison guard. Directly, with one hand, the prison guard was floating in the air. Because the iron elements in the blood of the prison guard are super thin, these measurements are old enough to extract pure iron from it. It turns out that this prison guard was beaten by a beautiful woman last night. This beautiful woman is too enthusiastic. Jenglin thought that the exciting payment session was about to begin. The prison guard who drank beer actually passed out. The beautiful woman was actually the model of Thetan, 1,000-word net. In order to stun the prison guard, he injected super thin iron elements first. These iron elements are now combined by Lao Wang into 3 eggs. With these 3 iron eggs, Lao Wang is invincible. Plastic-specified prisons are simply unbearable to him, but the only way out was soon collected. What surprised people was that Lao Wang turned one of the iron balls into a piece of iron. Then, Jenglin gracefully floated over it. No one could stop him from rebuilding the sky. It all started a few days ago. A mutant assassinated the president of the White House. The night watchman easily killed all the bodyguards with superpowers. If he was killed by one of the bodyguards, the president was afraid that he had gone to hell. The relationship between humans and mutants further deteriorated. In order not to let the mutants continue to visit, the president came up with Shui He, who had been studying mutants in depth. He authorized him to initiate necessary measures against mutants. Therefore, Shui He used a substantive drug that could control brain stimulation on Lao Wang. It was clear that Lao Wang had learned the information about the mutants. On the other hand, Professor X also saw the news that the president was assassinated by mutants. So he activated his brainwave conqueror to look for traces of the Night Watchman everywhere. The white light in the machine represents the ordinary, and the red light represents mutants. Soon, the Night Watchman's position was taken by the professor. He sent Phoenix and Chin and Storm to arrest him, but the Night Watchman said he didn't remember assassinating the president. Until he saw the scar on his neck, the two realized that something else was going on. At the same time, the professor came to Lao Wang's confinement and visited Lao Wang, but he was surprised to find that Lao Wang had taken over all the secrets of the mutant school. The professor was in a bad mood, but he didn't expect it. He was hypnotized and fainted, and his companion, Thunder Eye, was also defeated by the cats. Now, the Z-Whale school has no leader, and Shui He has sent troops to sneak in. Fortunately, Lan Shu was there to testify. When he saw that these people were not coming, Lan Shu immediately launched an attack. Like a wild wolf in the dark, he turned on the harvest mode. The frightened Gan Lishi also turned his back decisively, and easily kicked the soldiers in front of him. The two led the children in the school into the dark door and ran away. Although Shui He didn't catch a few mutants, his real purpose was actually the brain conqueror in the school. Because now the professor has been caught by him, but he missed a step. Unexpectedly, Lao Wang was saved by the model girl with a trick. He also invented a kind of neurotransmitter to suppress the professor's spirit. Then he used his son's ability to create illusions to control the professor. The drug that can control the consciousness of others can't be made with his brain secretion. But, because the professor's spirit is too strong, using drugs and neurotransmitters does not work. You have to cooperate with Zhang Sheng's infinite reading to implement the plan slowly. The plan is to use illusions to deceive the professor and use the brain conqueror to find the mutants. In fact, Shui He has already set up the program. The goals, set by the professor's spirit, will all be hit by spiritual attacks. At this time, the model girl and Chin still don't know that the school was attacked and plan to fly back first. Unexpectedly, 2 military aircraft were intercepted on the way. The model girl was not polite and turned her eyes to summon the storm. The speed of the jet was so fast that it instantly filled the sky. The model girl overtook the jet and went straight to the battlefield. Soon, all the aircraft were blown away by the storm. But one of the pilots fired 2 missiles at the last gate. The plane was about to be hit. The power of Phoenix in Chin's body was shaken and destroyed a missile. But there was still a hole in the bottom of the plane. The model girl was sucked out. Fortunately, there were night watchers in the plane and brought her back with the rest. Just when the plane was about to be destroyed, the original broken tailwind suddenly restored itself. Then, the whole plane was miraculously hovering in the air. It turned out that it was the scene of death. Finally, Lao Wang told them that Shui He had captured Professor X and was ready to use his spirit to eliminate all mutants. Now, they have to work together to break the game. In the evening, Uncle Lan confessed to Chin but was rejected, because Chin was already with Lei Shengyang. This scene was seen by the model girl. She was in a trance. She seduced Uncle Lan in the middle of the night. Unexpectedly, she was killed by Uncle Lan. The model girl did not give up and showed her superpower that all men like. She hoped that Uncle Lan could change her mind. Unexpectedly, this guy was blind. In the end, they had to leave together. What a fool, Uncle Lan. On the next day, they found Professor Guan's place. But the entrance, there is a red tunnel. If you go in directly, you will be found. Shui He will definitely break the law. Although the Nightwalker can move smoothly, he can only move to a place where he can see. This time, Uncle Lan stood up. He thought he was created by Shui He. He would definitely not kill himself. However, King Wan had a better idea. After a while, Uncle Lan appeared in the tunnel. Shui He saw Uncle Lan. He sent his men to put him in, but the Uncle Lan who put him in was a little angry. Shui He immediately noticed the abnormality, so he directly ordered to shoot him to death. The model girl's sword was no longer hidden. These blind soldiers were not his opponents at all. He quickly escaped and put in a row of controlled Ganma. Then he became the appearance of Shuihei again. The soldiers who hit him 5 times got the control of the red tunnel. He came down and floated in the water. Soon, Lao Wan and others outside came in to support. Shuihei can't take care of anything else. It just so happens that Zhang Sheng has used a magic sword to trick the professor into a brainwave. So, they jointly ordered to start the execution plan. The professor in the illusion was bewitched by Zhang Sheng and began to lose his mind. The model girl finally found out where the professor was. However, when they were going to rescue the professor, the laser eyes that had been taken away from them launched an attack. He was also controlled by Shuihei by the drug. Jin decided to stay behind. Xiao Laiku solved it himself. Lao Wan and the model girl continued to rescue the professor. However, the laser eyes mechanism was too powerful. Qin was unable to resist, gradually awakened to the power of the phoenix. Suddenly, the explosive energy spread all over the place and sucked in the whole base. It caused a lot of walls to shrink and began to break through the water. However, this blow also made the laser eyes regain consciousness and return to the team again. Here, Uncle Lan accidentally came to the lab that once injected him with edema alloy. It looked like the old edema alloy, a very familiar instrument. The painful memories of the past are forever in the heart. At this time, Shuihei and the cat girl also came here. He left the cat girl to deal with Uncle Lan and escape from the base. However, the ability of the cat girl to show was a big surprise to Uncle Lan. It turned out that he was also mutated by edema alloy like Uncle Lan. It can be said that the abilities of the two are also very similar. But after a few rounds of fighting, it is not difficult to see that the cat girl's fighting skills also attracted Uncle Lan more. The professor is also more agile. In pure fighting, Uncle Lan is not an opponent at all. But he realized that, with his own self-healing ability, he was going to exchange injuries for advantages. The only thing he didn't expect was that the cat girl had a similar self-healing ability. Now, Uncle Lan is also very cold. In this way, under normal circumstances, no one can kill anyone. It's just a matter of who will be more painful. However, in the face of the cat girl's high-level attack, the poor Uncle Lan was already in pain. Just when he was about to be stabbed to death, he suddenly took the opportunity to move and pulled out a plate of injected edema alloy tube and stabbed it. With the high-grade edema's large-scale injection, the cat girl was eventually called out by the core and could no longer wake up. In the lab, the professor has now locked all variants and launched an unprecedented spiritual attack. It won't be long before all the affected targets are eliminated. Only a special method like Lao Wan, who has a mental blockade helmet, can survive. He tried his best to close the brainwave conqueror with magnetic field, which stopped the disaster for the time being. When he found the professor, Lao Wan planned to do nothing. He directly counteracted the structure of the brainwave conqueror, and then ordered the cat girl to transform into a Shrek. He transmitted the target to the professor as a command to all ordinary humans. At this time, Uncle Lan outside caught the real Shrek who was going to escape. But at this time, the water tank could no longer bear the pressure and began to collapse. Uncle Lan tied up Shrek. The horse kept going back to rescue his companion. But Uncle Lan was in a hurry. Lao Wan brought the cat girl here and directly solved the Shrek. At this time, the professor has launched a spiritual attack. The human race is about to be exterminated. At the last minute, the Nightwalker brought the cat girl to the brainwave conqueror. However, there was only a little girl in front of him. The cat girl knew that this was Zhang Sheng's illusion and directly used superpower to summon the cat girl. Zhang Sheng could not resist such a cold and unsealed illusion. The professor finally regained his consciousness and stopped the attack. Although the human race was saved, this base could no longer bear the pressure of the flood and began to collapse. At a critical moment, Uncle Lan rushed back to lead the way, but they managed to escape the base and waited for all the members to board the plane. But they found that the power system of the plane was damaged and could not take off in a short time. Seeing the heavy flood coming from the sky, Qin seemed to have made up his mind and got off the plane. He stood alone in front of the flood and helped the plane take off. However, this kind of thing was still beyond his ability. So the power of the phoenix in the body began to awaken. Although he successfully helped the plane take off, he was also drowned in the flood. Qin's sacrifice made it difficult for many partners to accept. But life had to go on. In the end, the whole human race was saved, and the president began to consider how to live in peace with the mutants. The Z-Whale Academy was officially opened, and would the phoenix can really die so easily? How powerful was he after his rebellion?